Forgot. Yeah, we got ourselves a... Oh, well, actually, one more thing. Yeah. Yep, I do believe... Oh, no. Wait. No. We've got that. And we've got the universe to consider. And we've got all those sequels. And not to mention potential prequels in the future. And spin-offs. And TV series. And a whole bunch of other stuff that you just don't even want to think about. Yes! Blockbuster, baby! I wonder what went wrong.
What's up, movie lover badasses? Fat Samurai Guy here with Lady Fatblood, and today we are going to review Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Here's a quick plot synopsis. Fearing the actions of Superman are left unchecked, Batman takes on the Man of Steel while the world wrestles with what kind of a hero it really needs. So there will be no spoilers in this review. We will be posting a spoiler review of this film not too far long after this one. But for now, we're going to give you the good, we're going to give you the bad, we're going to give you the badass. First up, the good. I really enjoyed the special effects in this movie. The CGI was very well done.
The acting from the majority of the performers ranged from suitable to spot on. Particularly Mr. Jeremy Irons as Alfred and Mr. Ben he proved me wrong, Affleck as Batman. And what initially started off as a bad for me, we were given another origin story for Batman, told in the form of flashbacks, of course, at one main one at the beginning and then kind of scattered throughout the rest of it. But what they did do that turned it into a good was they took a plot device within the origin story and used it later on to kind of help bring Batman and Superman together. And first I wasn't too okay with it, and then it was like, no, you know what? If that's the way it has to be, I'm fine with it.
The movie did have some pretty good dramatic scenes spread throughout the film that I believe emotionally connected with the audience. I think it did a pretty good job here and there. And now for the bad. This movie might be really boring to some people that are expecting non-stop action.
The movie is trying its damnedest to set up a lot of different little plot points. Basically, within the first hour, we are given a lot of stories. And while, like he said, I was never bored. I know this movie was pretty lengthy, and I've heard people already complaining that that was just too slow and it was too boring. And
Snorefest.
Yes, and I totally see why.
The majority of this movie is a fucking mess. I really believe, okay, that this movie needed to be two films. The first movie, I believe, should have been the Batman v Superman movie, and then the Dawn of Justice movie prequel leading into the Justice League film. I mean, that's how it should have went, but they took a swing and was like, fuck it, we're just gonna go,
give me my money. Where's my money, man?
Tons of pacing and editing problems with this film. For example, the Martha Kent sequence, where literally a scene just happened. A scene just happened somewhere else, okay? Literally, the very next shot is Superman in his costume in Smallville talking to his mother, but the mother's already in mid-speech. It was just like, whoa, wait a minute, what the hell happened?
In one of the first of many.
Where
did that last scene go?
Yeah.
There's a scene there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is! It's on the editing room floor.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what it feels like. It feels like there were scenes from the movie missing. Now, we all know that there were scenes cut. I mean, time was cut to fit it down to what it was released in the theater. Some parts of the film, you might feel a little lost. Especially the dream sequence within a dream sequence / vision / whatever. I'm telling you, a regular moviegoer that knows nothing about DC Comics or DC lore is probably like, what the fuck is going on right now? We're in the fucking desert. We got fucking aliens with wings flying down. Like, what the fuck? And what the fuck happened to tough and feisty, balls to the walls Lois Lane from Man of Steel movie? What happened? What the fuck? She was on the Kryptonian ship with a Kryptonian gun shooting at fucking Kryptonians. We go from that Lois Lane to her being rescued 3 times.
And unfortunately, the forced love story that I didn't buy for 2 fucking seconds from Man of Steel, which was one of my biggest points of contention with that movie.
They're in love? Really?
Exactly. It has not changed at all in this film. You have to earn a love story. Okay, I'm sorry, but just because one human has a set of tits and one somewhat humanoid has a schlong does not mean that the minute they see each other, I believe that they are in love. Okay, we were going straight up Attack of the Clones bullshit in this movie, where the only way to get the audience to feel for these two as a couple was to show them making out while Lois is naked in the tub, and at the end, making sure that we know that they love each other. I love you. And, oh, there was something else, a spoiler talk, but anyway, yeah, sorry guys. Yeah. I don't, it's not that they don't have chemistry.
Yeah.
I've seen worse, but they have nothing to work with here. So I'm sorry, by the time the end of this movie came around and there was some emotions that we're supposed to be getting the feels, especially because of those two, no. I didn't even give a shit. And while I don't feel personally that it was Gal Gadot's fault, the movie just, for me, did not give her the intimidating presence she deserved. She barely had any screen time. They really tried to keep her identity a secret, which I thought was really dumb. Guys, stop fucking up your trailers, okay? You gave away everything in that first trailer. Granted, the second trailer was better. Okay, fine. But we knew Wonder Woman was going to be in this film. Why did you try to make it so coy, like we weren't supposed to know who she was? We're not fucking stupid here, okay? Anyway, I think a good example of this, and I get it, she's a villain and she's supposed to be more intimidating, but the character of Fiora from Man of Steel, I felt was actually more intimidating than Wonder Woman. Now, my understanding of the character of Wonder Woman, she's supposed to be, like, she's part of the Trinity, okay? She can go toe-to-toe with Superman, and she will stare down Batman if she so is inclined, okay?
She's a badass in the comics.
Okay, this is what I've been hearing about her. Granted, I'm not a fan, so I could be totally wrong on this, but for my money, you had another female in your previous movie who was fucking kicking ass. Probably even more intimidating than General Zod himself at times. And you get Wonder Woman in, and it's like, yeah, she's going up against Doomsday, and that's fine, but I just...
We needed more.
It was not her.
Yeah.
It was the movie, it was the writing.
We just needed to see her more.
Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor can go suck a bag of rancid cocks. Now, granted, we appreciate when somebody tries something new, something completely different. We've already had the stoic and the more intimidating Lex Luthor in the past. But in a film like this, with the tone and the adult atmosphere that this movie is trying so desperately to establish, this was the wrong time to go super comic book villainy on us. Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne. Together at last. The Red Capes are coming. The Red Capes are coming. He's coming for us. The bell has tolled. The bell has tolled.
His performance was a combination of quirky, crazy, mad scientists, okay? It just really felt out of place in this movie.
And to add insult to injury, his motivations are never really explained. Why does he hate Superman so much? Oh, it's because he's the villain. And I don't know if this was because of just bad writing or too much got edited out. Maybe something happened to him during the whole Kryptonian fight. We don't know. And obviously, you know, he wasn't supposed to be, but he just was not intimidating. And you kind of have to have a villain in a movie like this that's imposing and it's actually a threat.
What, man? He stuffed a cherry Jolly Rancher in somebody's mouth. Take that!
So we get this not intimidating, whiny, petulant little child of a villain that feels like he stepped out of a 2004 mid-grade comic book movie. And the performance in the end, it was cringeworthy for my money, damn distracting.
Cringe-worthy. Pain. And they really need to fire whoever saw this picture of Doomsday, okay, and then decided to turn him into this, okay? What the fuck? Doomsday / gray-looking Shrek with no dick, okay? Basically.
Ken doll.
Yeah, okay?
They had the Ken doll thing going on.
Okay, I know they tried with the bones coming out. It just wasn't good enough, okay? It was not good enough. The character of Doomsday was just very underwhelming and very forgettable. Nobody who's seen this movie is fucking talking about how awesome Doomsday is. Okay? Nobody's going, shit, Doomsday, dog! Shit. And the creation of Doomsday, that was so bad. That was so, okay, just throw that in there, mix it up, and okay, we got Doomsday now. That was so lazy, man.
Set the timer.
Set the timer.
And as was expected, as I fully believed was going to happen, the DC cameos came marching in a scene that could only be described as lazy.
Yeah.
Where we basically, they're trying to announce so subtly the upcoming Justice League movie with your characters, your stars of the DC Justice League team.
Via email.
It was it was so shoehorned in. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
The scene with Aquaman.
Yeah.
I think just about everybody has noticed it. Jason Momoa looked like he was about to drown.
The fanboy side of me was a little giddy. Like, yeah, we get to see all these other characters, but it was just the way they did in the movie was just, come on, email.
Now there is a remarkably large change given to the Batman character. As any Batman fan currently knows, Batman is not known for killing people, and it's been like that for a while. And I think people forgot about Tim Burton's 1989 and 1992 films, where he straight up murdered people and didn't give a fuck. Okay, this Batman, he kills people. It's slightly ambiguous the way he does it, because it's very sleight of handish, where he's either crashing through something or shooting something, kind of, and it's like, I don't know, that person's probably dead. And Batman don't give a shit. He's just, you know what, these are thugs, I don't care. And at first I was like, really? But realistically, this is an older Batman. And I eventually came to terms with it, and surprisingly, I was fine with it. But if you're like a staunch, current Bat freak, you might have a major issue with this.
And now for the badass.
The music in this movie is phenomenal. I had to go and get the special edition of this thing as soon as the movie was over. I've just about burned the CDs into the ground on my iPod already. I adore the score. Wonder Woman's theme is fantastic. Of course, Superman's theme is the same as it was from Man of Steel. Batman has an all-new theme. There's a really eeriness to it. There's an apocalyptic theme to it. There's a really gritty, dark, and kind of foreboding sense about it. It's a pitch-perfect score. I can't recommend it enough.
Ben Affleck. Batfleck. Team Batfleck over here is a fucking badass, okay? He is a beast in this movie, okay? We're fucking scared of this type of Batman. This version of Batman in cinema, we're fucking running away from this shit, okay? Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, you know, maybe we might have a shot, but this big ass motherfucker coming in, we're gone. We're out of town, man.
Yeah, he worked really hard to get into this role, not just to silence the naysayers, but he really seemed to believe in this role. And what I found really fascinating about his take on it, and again, sometimes the writing in this movie was so fucking spot on. This was what I had hoped it was. It was the most grizzled. I think he had said he had been doing this with Alfred for 20 years at least now. He's had clearly a troubled past. Did you see some things in the Batcave where you're like, oh my god, he's been through some shit. He is hell-bent on killing Superman. He does not care. He's like, fuck this guy. You've seen it in the trailer. He's going after him. His suit looks fucking amazing. Both of his outfits, they're everything I've ever wanted to see in a Batman film. We've had, you know, the black rubber. We've had the foray into the more realistic armor plating. What I always wanted to see was a more kind of comic book blending of the two, and we finally got it. He looks amazing. Both incarnations. But most of all, aside from him being this grizzled veteran who just doesn't care anymore about not killing, obviously, they really ended up humanizing him towards the end of the movie. We saw a side of him, and we're going to get more into this into spoiler talk. We saw a side of Batman that we've never really been able to see before. And I feel Affleck brought a vulnerability to him by the end that I was not expecting. And I can't praise his performance highly enough.
The Batmobile chase action sequence was awesome. It was just, I'm just gonna drive through a fucking building, okay? I don't care, alright? The fight between him and Superman was kick-ass, okay? It was something we've been wanting to see for years. We finally get to see it. I mean, some people said it was a little short. I didn't have a problem with it at all, really.
No.
But it was badass. It was like literally the pages from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns come to the screen, and it was awesome. And even though Doomsday looked like shit, the fight sequence that surrounded him was still well done. I like how Gal Gadot was finally like throwing down and shit, and she was enjoying getting hit. I like that. I really like that. It was almost, is she having an orgasm or something? I like when it got tough for her. It was like, ooh, challenge, okay? You got your CG spectacles and whatnot, but my personal favorite fight is when Batman takes on all of these thugs, and it's so fucking badass, okay? Grenades, knives, grappling hooks, everything involved was fucking amazing. The fight choreography, everything was so amazing, and that one fight that it completely destroys all of the other Batman hand-to-hand fight combat sequences. And I love Bane. I love Tom Hardy as Bane, okay? Bane's a fucking badass, alright? This Batman will kick the shit out of Bane.
So, ultimately, what's the final verdict? To be honest, this movie was a mess. I don't care if you're the biggest comic book fan and you got every single reference that these people stuffed into it. That's the problem, is that not everybody is a comic book fan. I don't know all of the details of every single story that's ever been told about Batman versus Superman and the Justice League. And most people aren't going to know these things. So that's why you gotta trim back on these things a little bit. You have to clean things up. And I would have forgiven this movie a little bit more if The Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't exist. And if Man of Steel hadn't been made first. Why? Because DC had a unique opportunity to learn from the mistakes of those two films. Instead, they followed in their footsteps. Amazing Spider-Man 2 showed exactly what happened when you set your sights too high and you wanted to tell a story that involved a billion other stories instead of one simple one. And Man of Steel was bloated. It was overly saturated with things that didn't need to be there. And so what did they do? They ignored the criticism, that some of which was rightly deserved for Man of Steel. They completely ignored Sony's example, and they did the exact same thing. But, I'm sorry, in my opinion, the critics who are bashing this movie to the point of 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't care what the percentage rate means, the majority of the critics out there are destroying this movie. Some person out there went to the extent of calling this movie the showgirls of comic book films. You know, I understand that time heals all wounds, but some of us remember Catwoman. Listen, the movie has its problems, and yes, DC fucked up, okay? They stuffed it, and they tried to stitch it up, and they tried to hack it to pieces and re-stitch it, and ultimately, I do feel that from a simple, just one-on-one concept that should have been so easy, they failed. Mm-hmm. But this is by no means the worst I have ever seen. I can guarantee you, I will buy this on Blu-ray and I will watch it several times in the future months. We might even go see this movie again in the theater. But I will say that there are worse films out there. This is by no means a Fantastic Four, or a Fan Four Stick, or a Ghost Rider, or an Elektra, or 2004 Daredevil. I was never bored with this movie. I understand if you were. Now, maybe we'll get lucky and things will be a little more fleshed out in the director's cut that we're pretty sure is going to be coming out when the Blu-ray comes. Now, I hope this isn't just a cut for gratuitous R rating, gratuitous violence, you save that stuff for the Punisher. Save it for Dredd. Okay, save it for movies that deserve it. And hopefully this longer cut will flesh out the characters more, flesh out the story more. Hopefully it'll patch up some of those gaping holes that we were given in the theatrical cut. Now, again, this movie was so horrifically flawed, but I can't help but feel that it was a fairly well-contained mess, and I did enjoy it. But because DC and Warner Brothers learned absolutely nothing from the sins of the past, and they had every opportunity to not do exactly what they did, and they were being stubborn because they don't want to copycat Marvel, which is obviously more successful right now. But then again, this movie, it's well on its way to making its budget back, so who knows? Maybe they won't learn a damn thing. But in the end, because of its heavily flawed nature, I have to give it a 3 out of 5. But you gotta understand, I was not nearly as irritated with this film as I was with Man of Steel. I'm still kind of angry at Man of Steel for, different reasons, even though some of the reasons are similar. But I can't hate this movie.
Yes, there are tons of problems with the movie. I mean, we love Batman, man. I mean, we could just be biased. And Superman. We could just be biased and say this is the greatest movie of all time. But there's problems. There's problems in the film, and we have to be honest. But I enjoyed it a lot more than she did because of the badass action. We had to wait for it. We had to be patient, unfortunately. But when the action came, it was kick-ass. The most badass, intimidating Batman we have ever seen on screen. I was pleased with the action. So, I gotta go a little bit higher. So for me, I give Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice 3.9 out of 5 stars.
Don't let the critics dictate to you what you should and should not go see, okay? If you have any interest in this movie, and you've seen our video, keep in mind some of the flaws that we've told you about, but also keep in mind that you might not have a problem with anything that we have said here, and you might actually enjoy this. It's a very entertaining film if you go in with the mindset that this is an adult comic book film. This is as far away from joy-filled, wee happy fun time Marvel universe as you are going to get. If you want dark and gritty and kind of, deep shit to an extent, go for it. I do recommend this film, believe it or not. Maybe I didn't sound like I did, but I do like this movie. I recommend you try it. Just keep in mind it's lengthy, and just keep in mind what we've said. I think you should try.
So that's it for today's episode. Please let us know in the comments below. We want to hear it. We want to hear all of it, okay?
Don't be
Marvel
afraid.
fanboys, DC fanboys, fanboys in the middle, that like both. Let us know what you thought about the film. We really, really want to know, and why. You like it, you hate it, let us know.
I find it interesting. This is one of the biggest contentious films I've ever seen. There's so many on either side, and I'm sure you guys are the same.
And again, keep an eye out for our spoiler-filled review. Thank you all for watching. You guys rock. We'll see you guys next time.
Share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.